All right, guys, sitting out here making a drag across this area. Hang on. Hey, what's up?
Did you have one of the pork chops for breakfast?
No, not for breakfast. I'm using it for catfish bait.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
You're gonna
Hang on. There's a fish. There's a fish. What's up, catfish people? Just pulled up at the boat ramp here. I'm fishing on Mountain Island Lake, which is just north of me. It's on the Catawba River chain of lakes. It's right below Lake Norman, which is one of our state's biggest lakes. And just gonna come out here and drag around. I came out here a couple of weeks ago and fished and caught some fish. I don't fish up here a lot. I really should. It's a small reservoir. The cool thing about it is it's very clear, generally speaking, because it gets a lot of water moved through it from Lake Norman, which is above here. But here's the trick. Here's the catch. I'm doing something different today. And I opened my refrigerator and I saw some pork chops that my wife has. And it just kind of ran through my head. A pork chop would catch a catfish. So guess what? I've got a pork chop. And we're gonna fish it side by side against some real bait. Come along with me. We're gonna see if a pork chop will catch a catfish. This is a very fickle lake, guys. I've fished it for a long time. I've had real good luck in fishing tournaments here. But every one of those was at night. Every one of those were under different conditions. So it's a fickle lake. It's hit or miss. It's very current driven. But some good fish can get plucked out of here. So I'm gonna give it a kind of a setup here to where I can make a long drag across some of the deeper water. See what's in here, see what's down here, and then we'll adjust from there. We may run up this lake. It's a windy, it's called River Bend, the River Bend area for a reason, and it's kind of windy and snakes up through there. So for now, I'm gonna get the drift lock in the water, see what we can get. All right, so here's the deal. I am gonna put out all pork chop on the port side of the boat. Let's just stay on the hook. Pork chop. That's what's for dinner. Some of these bait pieces I've got on this bass that I'm using are small. I'm gonna put some small pieces on there just to keep it fair. No planer boards today, just a spread of 6 rods. A relatively small one. Kaboom! Guys, I may actually have a fish biting on this bait. It's barely moving though. Fish is a small fish. I'm gonna nurse it in. This is on the real bait though. Only bite we've had. Made a little reset here. Not marking a lot over here. I'm gonna nurse this fish because it's such a subtle bite. I'm afraid it may not be on there. Or not hooked up good. Oh, there he goes. It's a small channel catfish. Barely hooked. Like I said, barely hooked. You can tell when he came off, got in the boat. There it is. 1-0. Come here, sucker. Go. Water. All right, 1-0. Fish is winning. All right, guys, this wind's blowing pretty good out here. It calmed down for a second. I didn't realize it was going to be this windy today. I picked a good day to stay home from turkey hunting. Made a drift here. I don't know. We probably went a quarter of a mile, hadn't had a bite. I'm not working anything on the sonar. The way the wind's got me set up on this drift is I'm dragging through some of the deeper water. So what I think I'm gonna do is reel my rods in, relocate, come down a little bit of a shelf that rolls into the deeper water and try that. There's not a lot on the sonar here. I'm in the deepest part of the river channel here. So I'm gonna relocate, make a little closer drag to the bank, see if there's any fish over there that wanna eat a pork chop. All right, guys, made this one last pull out of this little cove mouth here. Got over here close to the bank just to try this. No bites coming out of there. Marked a little bit more stuff, but nothing super great. So wind's still howling pretty good. So I think what I'm gonna do is pack it up, run up the lake, try some shallower areas. I got a feeling that's where the fish may be. This deeper water, definitely not holding anything on sonar, and only one fish to bite so far. So I'll go up there and try that next. Give this maybe, I don't know, another couple 100 yards, and I'll be making a run. Boom, we got a fish. I got a fish on the pork chop. I got one on the other bait. I got a fish on the pork chop. I really do. This is the pork chop bait, but I got another one going off too. I must have come through a school of fish right here, because that one's a good bite. Look at that. That may be a bigger fish, but this is a pork chop bait. It's working. Pork chop. Pork chop. That one's into another line. Maybe. Let's see. Let's see. Make sure that's not that bait. It's a channel cat. Pork chop bait. Pork chop. It worked. I caught one on a pork chop. Caught one on a pork chop. Now let's see if there's a fish on that line. Let's see if this one's still hooked up. Oh, yep, it is. We do have a fish on there. Old Pinky. Now Pinky was real fish. Pinky was real fish. All right, that's a decent fish. That's a decent fish. That is a decent fish. It's funny they both hit right in the same little area there. I have to roll back through there. I'm here battling some wind. Get him up on top of the water. There we go. Had a lot of line out on this one. I'm drifting, but I'm going to use my trolling motor to pull this boat straight. Oh, my rod's in position here. I can't believe I caught one on a pork chop. It makes me happy. Oh, it's a good blue, good blue, good blue. Nice. Ah. That's a good fish. It's a mad fish too. The belly on that sucker. It's a good fish. Excellent blue cat. Good looking fish. I'm back alive. Hey, what's up?
Hey, what are you doing?
I am fishing.
Are you catching anything?
It's been kind of slow. Kind of slow.
Hey, I was eating a crib for dinner. Did you take one? Did you have one of the pork chops for breakfast?
No, not for breakfast. I'm using it for catfish bait.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. I'm serious.
I mean, neither. If you want to take the food, cook it. You're gonna feed it.
Hang on. There's a fish. There's a fish. Call you back. Love you.
Love you too. Bye.
Alright. That was funny. I was just getting ready to tape something. And I got one on the pork chop rod. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. Yeah, I didn't tell the wife I stole one of the pork chops. Dude. It's fish number 4. It's 2-2. I am catching them on pork chops. Little channel cat. Amazing. Sitting there making a phone call. And my bait rod went off. This one doesn't count. This was a separate rod that had minnows on it, so I'm not counting this fish. I'll tighten that drag up a little bit there. This is probably a catfish if I can keep him out of the prop and everything else. Yep. Dang. He's got a fin around him, or he's got a line around a fin. Let's see if I can get him with a bugger grip without breaking something. Got it. You see. I'm not gonna count this one as one of the catches since he was actually on a live bait. Broke that hook. That one's in his fin. This whole rig's gonna have to be retied anyway. Get it cleaned up. Get it easy. Oh yeah, I'll have to retie that rig. But we'll count him. Good looking little fish. Nice blue cat. Well folks, I fished it hard. Finally got in some fish back here in this creek. And that one I caught there on the bait rod was the last one that I got. Didn't get any more. Made a good long drift after that. And the final tally, believe it or not, 5 fish. One of those came on the live bait, which I'm not going to count, just to keep it all fair here in the challenge. 3 rods of pork chop, 3 rods of fish. It was a tie. It was a tie. So 4 fish caught, and it was a tie, believe it or not. Biggest fish now came on a piece of cut bait. Ironically, the biggest fish did not come on the biggest piece of bait I had out today. I didn't catch any fish on that. I actually had one of the pieces of cut bait, a very large piece, just for that reason, to see if I could get a big fish on it, see if that was a big difference. But there you go. That's what the numbers are. So we'll have to do this again with some other piece of meat. Well folks, if you made it this far, thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing, and here are a couple of more videos that I think you're going to like.